Hey guys, what's going on? It's Don here from Novaspirit Tech and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to show you guys how to create a HA or high availability cluster on Proxmox. So let's get started. One of the cool things that you can do with Proxmox is actually set up an HA cluster, which allows you to migrate your VMs from one node to another, and you also have shared storage. Now, this is very similar to VMware's vSAN, so if you know about that, this is basically the same concept. Now, I am doing this on a VM, so I actually have 3 Proxmox VMs inside of VM. So the speed of this is not accurate because you should be running this on actual hardware, but for the demo, I'm actually going to just show you through a VM. Now, there are some requirements to this. You do need obviously 3 servers, but also on those 3 servers, you do need additional storage. So the original storage that you're using to install Proxmox on will not work. You will actually have to add an extra hard drive or a different type of storage where your Proxmox is not installed on. Now, this is also very hardware dependent. Obviously, if you have something that's 10 gigabit network, SSDs, that will be better for this cause because you are sharing everything through the network interface. Now, with that being said, let's jump into a desktop. So here, like I said, I do have it nested inside a Proxmox environment, and then I have 3 more Proxmox environments as well inside of there. So speed is definitely a concern because I don't have that much resources to run all 3 of these, but I am able to get at least a demo through to show you guys what we need to do to get these all hooked up. Now, I am going to leave a link to the high availability website. This has a lot of information if you have any questions about migrating, freezing, or stopping a service, or anything like that. It's all answered in this document over here through Proxmox high availability site. Now, to begin, we do have 3 Proxmox, and I could use any one to start up a cluster. That's the first thing we need to do. So I'm going to head over to data center right over here, go into cluster, and then I am going to create a cluster. Now from here, we just need to name the cluster name. So I'm just going to call it Prox Cluster 1. And then from there, we can just hit create. I'm going to leave everything as default. And this is quick. It just takes a few seconds to create. Once you have task OK, then you're going to see that this joined that cluster. Now we do need the other ones to join. So we're going to hit join information. And then we're going to grab this, basically copy information, head over to Proxmox 2. And then in their data center, we are also going to go to cluster, but this time we're just going to join it instead. So we're going to join the cluster here, paste that. You see how it pulls up all the IP information, everything I need? All I need to type in is the root password over here. Join. Give this a second, and everything's going to look like it failed, but it actually didn't. See, if I go into Proxmox 1, I actually have the second node right here. It joined already. And then over here, again, you just need to refresh this site. So I could close this out, refresh this with Control R, log back in, and now you see the 2 clusters. I'm going to do the same thing again to the 3rd one, and you do need a minimum of 3 clusters just to get the Ceph working for this migration to work. So you do need 3. So I'm going to head back into cluster, join cluster, and I'm going to paste that in there, pop in the password. Again, give this a few seconds, and you would see POX3 join the network as well. So now we could see all 3 of them. Now in this state, it's technically like a manager state. You're actually able to manage all the different Proxmox nodes if you want to. But as far as migrating through here, you cannot do that yet until you set up a Ceph, which has to do with storage. So now I am gonna jump back over to Prox 3 and then refresh this, and you can see you can log in here and you'll see the same information as Prox 1 and Prox 2. So it doesn't really matter for me logging into this one, but let's just start working off of 3. Now here I have my Prox cluster. I got Proxmox 1, Proxmox 2. You can see I can look at everything I want in here. And to start off with Ceph, I have to go to each one of these and install Ceph. Now, there is Reef and there's Quincy. But to be honest, I'm not exactly sure every intricate difference between the Reef and Quincy, but I do know that Reef is slightly faster. So that's what I'm going to be using. Now, in Enterprise, I'm going to use no subscription and then start Reef installation. Now, I'm not going to touch the other ones yet, even though I still need to do those. The reason being is that the first one that you're installing Ceph on, you will go through the configurations and change the IP address. The other ones will just obtain the information. You don't have to configure anything. So here, I'm just gonna wait for this one to finish before I jump into the other ones and configure Ceph for those. All right, there we go. Once that's installed, we could hit next. In configurations, if you do have a different network, I would join that. But for now, we're just gonna keep as default on the network that I'm currently on, which is the 10.20.30 network. And then I could hit next. And that's it. it will tell you what else you need, which is monitors, OSD, and then the pool. So we're going to be going through each one and one of those steps. Now I'm going to hit finish on that, and you can see status is okay for this. And then now I have to go to the other ones and go over to Ceph, install Ceph, change this over to no subscription, and you do have to keep it the same. Start installation, hit yes on this, let that go. I'm going to go to a third one, hit Ceph on this, install Ceph, change this over to non-subscription, start install, hit yes on this. And I don't know if for some reason why there is this weird little thing that won't go away now. But regardless, okay, so the second one is done. I'm gonna hit next, and you can see there's no configurations because it's already configured. And then that's it, I hit finish. It tells me the same message that I have to do. Now I have a warning message because I have only 2 out of the 3 of Ceph. And you see, OSD pool default size is 3. Let me finish this one, hit next. Configuration's already done. That's what I need to do. So now I'm going to go back into Prox 3. Again, it doesn't matter which one you're on. Oh, I am going to go over to Prox 3 over here. All right, so from here, I'm going to go to OSD, create OSD, and then you're going to see the disk that I added, which would be dev.sdc. I'm going to hit create. I'm going to leave everything as default. There's nothing really needs to be changed. Now, because I can manage the other ones from this location, I'm just going to go to Prox 2, scroll down to OSD, create. Same thing. And again, if you go into advanced, there are some things that you can do, but I would leave everything as default. And then on the third one, or Prox 1, I would go scroll down again and do the same thing, create OSD. And there we have it. If I reload, I should have Prox 3, Prox 2, give it a few more seconds, and then Prox 1 right over here. So now that we have our OSD, we now need to create monitors. So you could see that Prox 3 has the monitor already because that's actually where I origin from. And all I have to do is go into Prox 1, create the monitor, and then Prox 2, create that monitor. And now we have all the monitors running. So now, next thing we need to do is create a pool so we have everything that we could store. So we're going to create this pool. I'm going to name this Prox Pool, size of 3, which we have, minimum size 2, and we're just going to leave everything as default, and we're going to hit create. All right, as soon as this is created, every one of these will see this Prox Pool. You see this? Prox Pool, Prox Pool. So now moving forward, any VM will be dropped into this, will have ability to migrate over to another server because you're sharing all the data within these 3. This is what creates the failover when something does go down or if you need to migrate anything that you want. Now there are a couple of things that you can set up ahead of time, which if you head over to data center, you do need to set up groups for the HA. There's a couple of things over here for HA where you could set up. So basically you want all 3 of these nodes to be available. And you want to name this Prox group or something, anything you want, and then hit create. You can set the priority level to see which one you want to move the servers to in case you do have one more server that's stronger than the other and you want everything to move that one first, priority order, you can. There are a couple of things you could do with like restricted or non-fallback or no fallback. And in restricted meaning that say you have certain VMs that are attached to certain hardwares like a video card. You would want to put it in a restricted group. This way it won't purposely move that out of the way and breaking the VM because the hardware is missing. No fallback would be another one where you don't want it to move to the strongest available server when it becomes available. So there's a couple of things about this. If you want to look into it, again, this documentation will tell you everything. And then as far as like containers go, there's other states that you could put this in, like started, stopped, disabled, or ignored. So let's create a CT real quick, and I'm going to go over to local VM, CT templates. I'm going to download one real quick. So I'm going to go to a template and download Ubuntu 22 standard. All right, this should take me only a few seconds. There we go. Now I can create a CT, so I'm just going to run right through this. I'm going to call this UBU test. Give this a password. Next, templates, I'm going to choose that standard. Data, the disk is 8 gigs, that's fine. CPU 1, memory half gig, that's fine. Network, I'll choose DHCP. Next, DNS, confirmed, and then finish. I'm not going to start it after I create it because I want to show you guys. All right, now that task okay, I do have it on Proxmox 1. And when you're setting this up, you have to go over to the top right because right now it's not on HA state. So it won't do any migrations or anything if something was to fail. So you do have to go into more, manage HA. And then from here, you could set up the group that you want, which is the group we created. And then the state that we need. You see start, stop, ignore, and disable. Like these two will not affect this VM if something was to happen. It's the two that you want is on top. It's either when it's moved, it'll try to restart, or I'll keep it in a stop state if it moved over to another VM, to another node. So there's, again, more details about it in this website with high availability. But once you do that, you add it to that group, and there you have it. This will now fall under the rule if the Proxmox was to fail, or the node was to fail, it'll move over to the next node. All right, and for the moment you guys all been waiting for is the migration. So right here we have a Ubuntu test container, and if you take a look at the resources, it's actually on the Prox pool. So it's a shared pool between all of them. And for now, I could just right click and go over to migrate, and then I can migrate to a second prox. Now, before I do that, what I do want to set up is a little test. Now, it actually is a little bit better on VMs where they could do a live migration versus container where they will shut it down and put it back up. But I don't have enough resources to really run a full VM on here because I'm actually playing around with a VM within a VM like Inception. So what I'm going to do is pop into here and grab the IP. And this is 208. So I am going to pull up a terminal, ping 10.20.30.208. And then because I'm using Elementary OS, I'm able to actually use picture-in-picture. So I'm just going to grab this little bit here, and I have a little image down there. And then now you can see it's pinging. And I am going to do a live migration. So I'm going to go right-click, migrate. And I get to choose the target that I want, which will be Proxmox 2, and migrate. Now, because I am on a nested VM, it is not as fast as I want it to be. So if it's on real hardware, it's actually going to be a lot faster. Now, this does say task OK, which means everything has been moved over. And it's still pinging right now. You can still see it's live. It's pinging. This gets disconnected. I kind of stopped pinging, I think, because it's not moving. There you go. I lost 3 pings, and then the pings came right back, and that's it. So it actually works out pretty quick, even though if it's in this environment. Now, there are a couple of things that you can do here, which if you go to data center and you could set your options up for how you want the migration settings to work. So right now we have our default settings for migration. And if I go into edit this, there's actually a few oops, not this one, sorry. HA settings. And if I go edit, there are a few different types of policies that you could take. So default is conditional. Conditional means it's going to detect whether it's shut down or reboot and then do things appropriately or move it over appropriately. So first we have freeze, which means do nothing. Just when the system goes down or failover or breaks, it's just going to freeze. Nothing's going to happen. It's just like you only have one node there. So in case you know what you're doing and you're going to shut down the server and you don't want any of them to migrate to another server, that's when you would use freeze. Failover is when you got you didn't give it a shutdown command, it got unplugged, the network got unplugged, it's unavailable. It will fail over to the next available node. And then on migrate, which migrate is also in the conditional. Migrate means anytime you force a shutdown or you go into the Proxmox node and then shut it down, it will migrate everything over to another node. And then conditional, like I said, it combines the both shutdown and restart and detect if you're updating a kernel or something and it sends a restart signal, and this will know not to send VMs over to another node or to send VMs to another node depending on what condition you have. So most cases you should leave it on conditional, just so if you are going to work on, say, Proxmox 1 or Proxmox 2, it will know to move everything over. But in my case, what I like to do, because I'm running on mini PCs with limited resources, I would do failover instead, and only failover when there's an issue. So say right now I have failover set up. If I was to go into Prox 2 and actually not shut down, like don't send the shutdown command, I'm going to go over to my main Proxmox and right click here and stop the machine. You see VM stop? This will actually stop this machine. I'm still pinging right now, so it's going. This will actually stop this machine. You're going to see this error out. In about a minute or two, this will actually move over to another node. So again, depending on your PC speed and how fast everything is, this would be a lot faster. Really depends on your hardware, which is your network connectivity, and also the hardware that you're using as far as storage goes. So I can see right now it's a bunch of, let me pull this up to be a little bit bigger, a bunch of unable to reach the host. Oh, and there we go. We just saw that move up to the top to Proxmox 1, and I had no interaction with it. It just did it itself. You could also see that it's performing some task over here, which is CT100 start. And there we have it. The pings are back and successfully migrated from a failover state to another Proxmox. Now, there are some other things that you can do with this, which I mentioned earlier, which is setting up the group. So you know, like certain things that require hardware that the other machine doesn't have, it will purposely not move that over if you have it in a group where it's restricted. So you got to keep in mind what will move over and what don't. But this is how it works. And there you have it, guys. This is a simple HA setup with Ceph storage. So if you plan to do this on your environment, like what I did with my mini PCs and everything, you're gonna have a great time with this because now you have some sort of failover if one of the servers go down. Remember, a lot of it does fall back down onto hardware that you have, like make sure it's not on the same network. Even the surge protector should be on a different one, or battery backup should be on different plugs and everything. So you're not nested into one area where if one fails, all fails. But yeah, again, it all dependent on how your setup is. Anyway, if you guys are new to this channel, consider subscribing and also hitting that bell notification icon so you know when the next video is going to be out. And as I say in my nerd cave, hack till it hurts.